And we are live. We are live. It is, I believe it's Wednesday. Yep, it's Wednesday, February 14th, Wednesday. And we're talking about the Seahawks roster because there's a lot to uncap. Get it? There's a lot to look over in order to free up some space. Otherwise, we're going to be running into potential mayhems here if nothing happens. Realistically, we still have Leonard Williams to re-sign. I would like to think that Jordan Brooks is going to stay. You know what? Jordan Brooks almost became a Ravens person, but things will be he fell. One. So we have him. We should probably resign him. Jordan Love, he played pretty dang good. Damian Lewis, we actually need Damian Lewis. We have a pretty stout line right now. We have two not rookies. They were rookies once upon a time, but came in at the same time. Pretty stout on the outside. As we start looking into the interior, we want to have more blanket of security on that point. So I think getting Damian Lewis back into the fold. Last year he was getting paid 7 milli or 7.4. We might be able to work something out depending on what happens with the rest of the roster. But just looking over this roster right now, Geno Smith, right? Geno Smith is going to hit the cap, our cap, yes, the Seahawks cap with a 31 milli. Is he worth that? Is he worth 12.5% of the cap? I don't think he is worth that much, but I would say maybe he will be worth that much with the new offensive coordinator that we have. The offensive coordinator, if you haven't been watching college football, was the college almost champions and Grubbs, who coached Mike Penix, who almost won the Heisman, who is a slinger. He loves to slang that ball. And if I didn't know any better, I would say Gino is pretty similar to Penix, or Penix is rather similar to Smith. It just so happens that Smith came into an offense that was rather vanilla. We had DK, like throw to DK. But anyways, I think Gino, if anything else, that 31 mil needs to come down quite a bit. And we can only do that by restructuring his contract. Of course, if it doesn't happen, he's probably going to get traded. So I look for that. Like if Gino does not have his contract restructured, could he get moved? I think he could get moved. And if he does, I believe John already said that as the GM, he is going to get the most important position, the most talented person in the most important position. That's where they're drafting that year or this year. So it could potentially be the year that we draft a quarterback in the first round. I don't know the last time we've done that, but this could potentially be it. Now, as we're walking the dog on this, 11.15% of the cap is awarded to Tyler Lockett. 27 mil. Is Tyler Lockett worth 27 mil? I don't think he's necessarily worth 27 mil. I think he's worth not 27 mil. He's either going to get moved or restructured, but that's got to get knocked down. Almost spilled my coffee. If that don't get knocked down, man, that's going to be a tragedy for what we're trying to do. Because if you don't know, well, y'all, now you know the Seahawks are going to build from the interior out at this point. We already have the pieces. We need to build from the interior out. Can't do that if you don't have money. We might have to move from Tyler Lockett, which, I mean, it is what it is. He's been a Seahawk this whole entire time. It'd be nice if he retired a Seahawk. Is he starting to come down as far as his productivity? I think with emergence of JSN, there's a potential for that, but I don't think we necessarily have to worry about Lockett being a point of emphasis to get rid of. Restructure his 27.8 mil. Yeah, restructure that. Now, a guy that I could potentially see getting cut, moved, not on the roster anymore is Jamal Lewis. Of course, I can also say that I might see him or would love to see him in uniform again next year, as healthy as can be, and a new defense. However, he keeps getting injured. Like no matter what happens, he keeps getting injured. I think he's at a point of his body's career where he needs to just let go of the game. The team just needs to let go of him also, and we need to move from him. 26 mil. He's getting 26 mil. That's a little over 10% of our cap. He's got to go. Like we could take that money and put that into Leonard Williams, who I would love to see in this uniform again because he was probably one of the more productive defensive players that we had this year. So you could take Jamal, who didn't play majority of the season, take his money, give it to Leonard Williams, the little bit that you have left over. So if you give like let's say Jamal's no longer here, you can take that 20 mil from his 26, 20 mil, and you can give that to Leonard Williams. The leftover, you can start feeding that to Jordan Brooks. DK, I don't think you really got to do nothing with him. Quandre Diggs, ooh, 21 mil. There might be some conversation happening with that. And now, as we start going down the line, it gets a little shaky because you have Draymond Jones. He really didn't. He wasn't spectacular to me. He got paid. He got paid. He's getting 18. 18. He ain't worth 18. I'd rather have Jordan Brooks than him. We got some other young bloods coming up, and we can probably get somebody younger, faster, more alert than him. Will Disley, 10 mil. He's a blanket, man. We need him. And then you have Love. I like Love. I can see Love with this offense once again. Give him 10 mil. Let that thing happen. Noosu, that's a guy right there who had high expectations of himself but got injured. He's going to be back in the fold. But if I'm looking at this whole entire roster, the big pieces that I'm probably looking at is Geno Smith, Tyler Lockett, Jamal Adams, Quandre Diggs, and Draymond Jones. I could see those players not on the roster anymore, and I don't think we're going to be in any dire situations with or without them because we got a lot of young cats coming in. Mafe, he started their merge with somebody. JSN, he's going to be a somebody. Derek Hall was a bit of a disappointment, but it is what it is. But those are the roster moves I can see happening very shortly. And let me tell you something. If Geno Smith does not restructure his contract, there's a good chance he's going to get moved out. We have a first round draft pick. That first round draft pick likely is going to be a quarterback. And if I didn't know any better, because we do have someone who's relatively close to Penix on the coaching staff, I can see Michael Penix being the guy that we end up with, which isn't too far off. Would he be an upgrade? I think for salary purposes, he'd be an upgrade. We'd definitely save a lot of money. We can have him grow into the role as that top dog. He's very reminiscent of some of the cats that are in the league that's slanging right now. He has a great arm talent. He can actually scoot. He can run. He can do a lot of stuff that Patrick Mahomes can do. So keep that in mind. Penix, although he was injured for a lot of the time that he was at his past college before he got to Washington, he was broken. Like they literally put him together, patched him up, got him healthy, and you saw what he was able to do for the past 2 years. I would love to see Mike Penix in a Seahawks uniform. I think it's only right. He wouldn't have to move. He literally walks next door and then goes over there and trains. Tyler Lockett, man, he's getting old. He's getting old. I think he still has a lot left in the tank for the next 2 to 3 seasons. But this might be a good time to restructure his contract or just move from him. Jamal Adams, time to go. We already said it. Jamal Adams, time to go. Quandre Diggs, it might be time for him to go just because of the defensive scheme that we're probably going to implement at this point. I can see us putting forth a 3-4, very, very similar to what the Ravens had. Could Quandre Diggs fill that void of free/strong safety? Free safety, yes. He's going to have to learn to play above his weight because he's not that big. And at a 3-4, we're going to need a guy who can cover sideline to sideline, but also come downhill, which he's able to do. But I don't know how long he's going to like hold that in. Love, I can see Love back in uniform. We actually do need him if we move away from Jamal. But those are just, some tidbits I can see. We're building from the outside or from the inside in. I'm looking forward to seeing what sort of linemen we end up with. There's a lot of movement that's going to happen for this roster. I can definitely see that. This is going to be the first time that John has had full control of the whole entire implementation of personnel, all the way down to the kicker and punter. So he's going to have a lot of different things he's going to want to see from a roster that he has put together. And I'm reading it. I'm seeing a lot of great things coming from this team of Seahawks. Anyways, that's just my quick thoughts. Later.